Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey you guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all latest news in the week of mobile and answer your questions live. If you have any questions you want to ask, just ask them now in the comment section down below, and I will answer them before the end of the show. Alright guys, now let's get started on this week's news. And one of the big things that a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about ever since the S9, if not before the S9, has been the next Galaxy smartwatch. And we have some interesting developments with that now. And that is that the Gear S4, we already know, will now be named the Galaxy Watch. They are going away from the Gear series lineup and going towards Galaxy. So Galaxy Watch, Galaxy 360, Galaxy VR, all this is coming in the future. But the biggest thing about the Galaxy Watch is that it might not have Tizen like it has had. It might switch to Wear OS, which is a very interesting development if you ask me. One of the biggest reasons I think this is a huge shift is because of the fact that with this development, we will actually see a shift from Tizen to Wear OS, which the reason why that's so interesting, I think, is because of the fact that Samsung, I feel, has the better OS for a watch. I think Tizen OS is better on a smartwatch than Wear OS right now, which is Android's iteration, sorry about that, Android's iteration of the smartwatch. You know, it just got its rebranding to Wear OS from Android Wear, and it's just still not where it needs to be. However, Samsung's done a very good job, but it might not have the same amount of developers that Wear OS has, which is where I think this is going to come in with a big push, especially for things like Google Maps and things like that. I think will really help out overall. But so it was rumored for a while, and now, of course, the biggest leaker out there, Evan Blass, has said that he has seen employees with a basically prototype of it where they are wearing Gears watches with not Tizen but Wear OS. So that's pretty big, considering his track record is one of the best out there in terms of leakers. So you have to give that more credence than just, you know, the current rumor mill. This kind of brings it up a notch, basically. And I do think this is what we're going to see when the next watch comes out at IFA in early September or late August, whenever IFA is currently this year for 2018. All right, now we also got a big shock, and although I've been saying this for a while now, if you've caught on since last year, I said that Google Home would overtake Amazon Echo because it's just better at doing everything, in my opinion, with the exception of shopping. We might need to revisit that. I feel like when Google comes out with their screen interface, we might get an Echo Show and compare them and really see which one is better. But overall, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this route goes. But yeah, with this, I will say that it's definitely a big change that Google now in Q1 has 36% of the market for Q1 2018, whereas Amazon only had 27%. Keep in mind that a year ago, this was a huge difference. Google only had 19% and Amazon had a whopping 79% of this market. Apple is out of the top 4 as well in their HomePod. So again, that's why we've heard that it's not been selling well. Now, you have to understand that Apple gets a lot more profit from their HomePod than any of these other speakers, but it's just interesting. Also, Alibaba, basically the Amazon of China, has been doing very well, and Xiaomi is starting to get up there as well, and they are newcomers this year. So overall, this is really telling, and I think it's really telling more so how far we've seen year-over-year growth. This was a 3 million unit market last year. This is now a 9 million unit market this year. You can see that smart home devices are the future. I think this is interesting because it's actually going away from what we thought would be the future a couple years ago. Wearables. Everyone's going to have a smartwatch in a couple of years. That really didn't happen. But what did happen is smart home devices are now king. And I think we're only getting more and more into that. Again, remember, smart home devices is one of the main reasons why I changed the channel name to the YouTube Tech Guy, because we were starting to review more tech that wasn't phone related or smartphone related. And that was one of the reasons. So that's how big this trend is and how big I believe in it. All right, now we got some big news from XDA developers, and that is that the Moto Z3 Play is going to be coming out. Now we expect this to be announced, I believe in about 10 days, right? That it's going to be announced in June. I forgot if they had an exact date, but Moto is having their event very shortly. But the big thing about this is that this shows off the 5G mod. Now, why is this so big? Well, as from what we're hearing right now, no smartphone this year will have a 5G antenna built into it. So we might have a 5G hotspot, but no 5G smartphone this year. This mod would effectively allow this phone to have 5G later this year, which is a pretty big deal. I mean, the fact that you could have the first smartphone effectively through a mod able to have 5G is a big coup for Motorola. So I think that's going to be very interesting. Now, if you're not familiar with the Z3 or Z series, Z Play series specifically, these are more mid-range devices. So this is a device that will probably end up between the $400 and $600 price range. We'll see where it lands. I'm hoping around $500, but we'll see if it might get a little bit more expensive this year. As a mid-range processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 3000 milliamp battery, 6-inch screen. But we'll see how it goes. I'm really kind of curious in this device. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's an interesting thing? Would a mid-range device that could have a 5G attachment be beneficial for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. And we did get the announcement of the Htc U12 Plus, and this phone has some pretty good specs, but I don't know what HTC's thinking. Now we have reached out to them. I really am interested to see how it's going to go overall in terms of if we'll get a unit this time for this year. But $800, this is not gonna sell, guys. I mean, to all due respect to HTC, this phone does not have what it takes to sell through the market. It really doesn't. And the translucent blue, if you guys have not seen that translucent blue with basically on almost transparent, it's technically translucent, background on the back, it looks beautiful. But this phone doesn't have what it's gonna take to sell. It really doesn't. It's not gonna sell with HTC's name, which unfortunately has been dragged through the mud a couple of while. But I mean, when you consider, as they pointed out here, you know, the G7 is $749, the S9 is $719, the iPhone 8, if I'm not mistaken, is $649. So it's like, why? I think we're gonna do a video this week on going over the top 10 smartphones right now and their price points, and kind of see, you know, from the $500 price range to the $1,000 price range, what are you really getting currently right now in the smartphone market? Let me know if you guys like that idea. But that's what, because there's I basically counted there is effectively 10 smartphones between $500 and $1,000 that you could get, and some have big differences, but some have very little differences. So it'd be an interesting video to kind of see what is really appealing to most users right now. I cannot believe in 2018 we are still talking about this, but the very first patent war that Apple and Samsung had is finally pretty much decided now. Basically, this was the lawsuit that was originally for over $1 billion. It was the one where you had that crazy rumor that was not real about Samsung paying Apple $1 billion in pennies. But basically, yeah, this is started in 2011. So you're talking about a 7-year time. I think it was the Galaxy S3 or the Galaxy S2 that was out when this started. But basically, they have done that it will be 548 million. Samsung has already paid about 400 of that already, but that is what it looks like it will be. Samsung still states that, oh, well, you know, we're still going to look into kind of doing something if we can block it. But this is a court that it's been like to the Supreme Court, to an appeals court, to a Supreme Court, appeals court. Like, it's gone back and forth in crazy amount of times. It is finally being decided here. But this was for the original designs of the Galaxy S and Galaxy Tab lineup. Again, I do agree with Samsung in some sense of, you know, the scope of design patent damages, because Apple, although they came up with a tablet-like specific design, there were tablets before Apple. They were just in the corporate world, much like there were smartphones more in the corporate world before the iPhone came out. So it really is like, you know, we don't want to let Apple win too much at this, because that could be dangerous for Apple suing everyone thereafter, which would be dangerous just for innovation, of course. And finally, we are going back and forth on this. And again, please, no political stuff here. I'm just talking about the tech behind it. But we are going back and forth on this, and it looks like ZTE will get fined heavily, but essentially be allowed back to cell phones and hotspots again in the US. Now, this was a really big blow to ZTE. It looked like they could go out of business if this didn't happen. So I don't want any company to go out of business. I do want the right precautions to be taken. We'll have to wait and see what those will be overall. This is basically something from the president talking to things, trying to work it out, and then presenting it to unban it. But it's going to be, you know, in other people's hands overall, whether the ban is lifted or not. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Overall, again, I just think, you know, precaution needs to be taken, but I don't want a company to go out of business. That would really suck. So really kind of curious to see how that will go. All right, guys, now let's get to your questions. Again, if you guys have a question that you would like to ask, just ask it in the comments section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Okay. I ain't got time for that. Where are you at? I am right here. Hey, how are you, Ricky? I am doing good. Overall, yeah, it's been an interesting week, so yeah. I'm considering getting the Moto Z Force. Do you think it's a good buy? How low of a price point is my question, because yeah, that would be definitely my my question. How low of a price point are you getting the Moto Z Force for? I'm assuming the Moto Z2 Force, right? But how low of a price point? Because I mean, you have to consider other smartphones out there now that have way better specs. I mean, look, even if it's in the $500 price range, wouldn't the OnePlus 6 be a better phone overall for it? So that would be interesting. It definitely had a better camera. Almost missed the video. I was busy watching your old video. Oh, which one? Note 9, nothing update on the Galaxy Note 9 yet. We'll look forward to the Galaxy Watch. Not enough development for apps for Tizen. I do agree with that. Apple will expand the FNC chip to unlock smartphone locks, ID scans, and so on. I hope so. The NFC chip, I know is what you meant. Yeah, the NFC chip on iPhones has been locked down. So for instance, if I go to these two phones, right? If I go between the iPhone and my Galaxy S9, my Galaxy S9, I can do a lot with NFC, including just like transferring over things like this by touching it, and basically I can transfer over my information. So if I wanted to use it as a business card, tap a phone and it transfers. I think that's a really great feature of NFC that really doesn't get talked about that much anymore, but one I love. With the iPhone, NFC is pretty much only used for pairing Bluetooth, and that's about it. As well as, of course, Apple, not Apple ID, Apple Pay. But yeah, but that's about it. That's really it overall. Whereas NFC is so much more functionality. So yes, I hope that at WWDC in about a week. Yeah, I think we're about a week away from WWDC. That we do see an expansion on the versatility of NFC with the next iOS iteration. Huawei P20 Pro or Galaxy S9 Plus, which is better in your opinion? Well, I do not have the P20 Pro, so I'm at a bit of a disadvantage right there, right? But if I take everything that I've seen about the P20 Pro from other reviewers, and I take what I know about the Mate 10 Pro, which the Mate 10 Pro had the best battery life ever in our studio. It beat every other phone by an hour on screen arm time, if I'm not mistaken. So really awesome battery life overall. So by that, right, if the P20 Pro is the same kind of battery life as the Mate 10 Pro, I would have to give the battery life to the Mate 10 Pro, or sorry, to the P20 Pro being better. I also love the idea of more zoom, so I do like that. The detail in it has to be better as a camera overall, but it seems to have a lot of issues in low light for camera quality, and especially the processing isn't there. It seems like if someone could get, so I can get a working version of the Pixel camera app. I can get a working version of the Pixel camera app for my S9 because they're both Qualcomm processors. However, you cannot get a working one, as far as I know, for Huawei smartphones because they use their own processor, the Kirin processor. So I think that it just needs better processing, which could come with updates. But if you don't have that, I would say well-rounded. I just still have to give it to the S9 Plus, being that although it might not have as good of a battery life, it's still comparable for sure. It does have a better processor now, as where the processor from Kirin last year was better than Snapdragon last year. They still don't have the newer processor to compete with the Snapdragon 845 this year. So overall, I would probably give it to the S9 Plus overall. But that is a difficult one, again, without using the P20 Pro myself. Best budget tablet for watching movies, thank you. So here's my thing about that, right? You're asking for watching movies. Okay, well, I would get an old tablet then. For instance, when we did a video, what was it? I think it was last month, we did a video on how to have like Android Auto, or the ultimate car setup using Android Auto on a tablet. So I had to really think like, okay, well, I want to get a tablet, but I don't want to, I want to get a good looking tablet. So really, screen was all that mattered, which is kind of your case too, right? Your screen is what's mattering to you. So in that case, I didn't go for a current budget tablet for that. I went for an old tablet that was higher end before. My recommendation would be the Galaxy Tab S or Tab S2, 8-inch or 10-inch. But basically the idea behind that is because they had AMOLED displays at 2K resolution. So there is no better looking tablet at a $200 to $300 price range for movies that you can get other than those. Now, are they going to be as fast? Will they have the latest operating systems? No. But if you're just looking for movies and, you know, still good usage, obviously, that was it. My battery life isn't as good. That is one thing I noticed. It was a used tablet that I got offline. But my battery life isn't as good on that tablet. I will say that, like, it lasts more like 5 hours, which, you know, like my Tab S3, my current tablet, day-to-day tablet, that one definitely lasts more like 8 hours plus. So, you know, it's a pro and a con because you're getting a used product, but overall, I think it's worth it if you're just looking for video quality. That would be my recommendation. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. And when it's 1:16, as it is, when a whole bunch of questions load, everyone drinks. All right. Do you think the OnePlus 6 is going to be the best Android phone this year? And if so, what do you think that means for Samsung? Do I think it'll be the best smartphone this year? No, not a chance. Will it be one of the best smartphones this year? Absolutely, absolutely. The best though, it doesn't have the best. It has amazing specs, and 8 gigs of RAM is nothing to shy about. I have not switched to it as my daily driver yet. I'm currently still finishing the G7, which I'll finish probably on Tuesday or Wednesday as my daily driver, and then I'll switch to the OnePlus 6. Which very fast, I can tell you that already. Just playing around with it, doing our photos, because right now we're doing all of our photo comparisons, which is taking a while. Also our 4K videos, 1080p video, depending on which phone it is. We're doing all that right now. But would I say it is the best smartphone out there by the end of this year? No, I don't see that happening. Because all it really takes is another flagship. So let me put it this way. If Samsung made a smartphone, say the Note 9, with 8 gigs of RAM, it would already be better than OnePlus. Why? Well, it has wireless charging. It has waterproofing. It has expandable storage. So just on that basis, again, all that OnePlus has going for it is the price point, which is a huge advantage. But if you're talking about the best smartphone of the year, price is a factor, but it's not the ultimate determinant, sorry. But yeah, so no, I don't see the OnePlus 6 being the best smartphone of the year. Not to mention there's going to be a OnePlus 6T this year, which again, it's like, can it really be the best if there's already going to be a better one from them later? So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I would love if a OnePlus 6T got rid of the notch and had wireless charging. That would be interesting, and had waterproofing. Then that phone would be easily considered a best smartphone of the year contender. Let's see. Are you still enjoying your Sonos Soaker? Where did you put it? My Sonos. I never had a Sonos. My Sonos Soaker. Am I just not thinking of it? No, I never had a Sonos speaker. That's what you meant, Sonos speaker. I had a Sony speaker, but not a Sonos one. I never reviewed the Sonos one. I was waiting for the Sonos to get the Android, the Android Assistant update, but never saw it happen. So until then, that's when I would get the Sonos one. But I never reviewed a Sonos speaker, not yet. Apple YouTubers predicting 3D gestures on iOS 12. What are we on right now? iOS 10 or iOS 11? Let me see. Hold on. Wait. What iOS are we on right now? I wish they had names better. Yeah, so iOS 12 this year. So 3D gestures. What do you mean by 3D gestures? Do you mean like what Samsung had and like overview kind of gestures like this? Which you can still do, if you have Wave Control, which is an app that I reviewed a long time ago. If you have Wave Control, I can do this and this to skip songs, this to pause things and all that kind of stuff. You have that capability with the sensors up on top of here on Android. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would see Apple doing that. I think that's too big of a leap, honestly, for them this year. But we'll have to wait and see. It's only about a week away or so. Is there really an actual need for a notch mechanical wise? No, there's not. No, there's not. It's a pure aesthetic thing. That basically what they want to do is just, well, let's maximize the screen so we can say we have a bigger screen. Newsflash, no one gives a like seriously, no one cares about this little bit of screen being that much more. And yeah, so no, the notch people are pissed about. I can say so many Android users hate the notch. Like it is something that it does not look good. But yeah, no, it's something that really doesn't look good. And yeah, no, I mean, I've had so many people agree with me on that. So yeah, I'm convinced that yeah, no, the notch. The notch, it makes sense on the iPhone because of their Face ID scanning. But on no other phone does it make sense. Best movie, Avengers or Deadpool 2? For me, that's pretty easy. I would say Avengers. Avengers was the better overall movie. I loved I wouldn't say even I loved Deadpool 2. I really liked Deadpool 2, but I loved the Avengers movie. That was just like, I still remember leaving that theater and I was just like, whew, give me a minute. Yeah, need to digest all this. Like, where Deadpool 2 was like, oh, that was funny, and then the after credit scene was hilarious. So yeah, so that's where I lie on that side of it. What do you think about the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 benchmark Exynos 980, and the Note 9 will have 8 gigs of RAM? So the 8 gigs of RAM is a rumor that I pray to God is true, but it is a rumor, so keep that in mind first. How do I feel about the benchmark test? Well, the benchmark test, if I remember correctly, scored higher than the S9 Plus. So it scored better than the Snapdragon, right? But, you know, Exynos usually scores better than the Snapdragon. This version scored higher in multi-thread, but less in single-core processor, if I'm not mistaken, than the S9 Plus averaged. So, for the Exynos version for that phone. So, that's why I didn't really talk about it, because I'm like, okay, so it got looked at, but the big thing is, if the 8 gigs of RAM is true, I hope it is. But again, that unit was probably not optimized either, so it could actually be better than that come time of release. I'm seeing more photos of the Samsung X online. Are they accurate? No, I have not seen any accurate new photos for the Samsung X. I've not really seen anything that really, yeah. So I'm seeing some here and there, but nothing really that I would say is actual credence to it. Although again, nothing like I've seen. Not that I've seen it. Man, this phone's cool. HTC is dead in the water. Yeah, I think this phone is, honestly. I need a new tablet. What do you recommend? Prefer Android with multi-user and pen features. Well, the pen features definitely limit you to what Samsung and Huawei. I mean, you're looking at it that the Tab A with S Pen would probably be your cheapest version. I don't know how cheap the MediaPad is with the Huawei MediaPad with the pen, but it would be one of those two, I'm guessing. But can't think of specs wise off the top of my head. Although I'm just currently waiting for the next Samsung tablets, to be honest. I had this Tab S3 for too long. Need something new. LG V40 question mark? Nothing new on it so far. Why doesn't Moto Mod make an AMOLED panel? I would buy that for sure. Once I'm done, I put the battery mod again and go back to the main screen. Interesting. I mean, I think they would do that with like an e-ink actually on the other side, like have like a really low battery using screen on the other side. I think that has been one of them, or one of the ones pitched at least. But to have an OLED, so you're essentially thinking a second screen, basically. I mean, you would need to have it have its own battery because it's another screen, so it's going to drain your battery a lot quicker. I don't know. I don't know how well that would work, I guess. Cord's favorite Apple. I hope Samsung makes them pay in screens and processors. Sorry, Apple, the price went up. You know that's going to happen. When is the Note 9 coming out, the Samsung X? Note 9 is coming out end of July. Announcement end of July, and the launch will be August. When is the Samsung X coming out? That has been switched around so many times. Unfortunately, one of my people did leave Samsung, so I have to find out more about it, but yeah. Don't know. How's the real estate job going? Not that well. Real estate's a very tough business. I have not found another. I started off with 2 homes to sell at the beginning of the year, which did very well. But I'm thinking about going either to a sales management or marketing job again, just to have, you know, side income while I still do this channel. But yeah, I mean, real estate was a perfect blend to do this channel and real estate at the same time, because both left me so much flexibility. If I do I'd rather probably do a part-time job with YouTube. That way I can have YouTube and focus on that and give you better video quality content. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. But I can't just rely on YouTube for income, at least not yet. Again, if we were getting to the point where, you know, every single video had 3,000 views and we were averaging 2 million views a month, that would be ideal. That would make it so I could do YouTube and that's it, while still buying a lot of electronics to do the, like, that is where I'm hoping for. Maybe unrealistically, but by the end of this year, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for an average of 2 million views a month instead of 1 million, which is what we're on right now, and getting we've averaged, like, around the holiday times and like the Samsung launched times, we average closer to 1.5 million views a month. But so if that could be a consistency, definitely a possibility later on. But yeah, at this point I'm looking at, because I haven't found another home to sell, I'm looking at towards basically going towards another marketing job, which was my background, or management job, or even a part-time sales job. I'm really kind of figuring out what I want to do on that side. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. Everyone drink. Yeah, the Moto Z2 it's $375 on T-Mobile. That's a pretty good price. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good price. Not bad. I'm gonna do a quick search because I did review that phone last year upon release. So let me remember what it had. Okay, let's see. So it had that shatterproof style screen. Let me just do specs. Do I have specs available? Okay, so I had a 5.5 OLED display. It just says all day battery life, not the actual. Oh, here, view full specs. Okay, so got a fingerprint sensor, so it still was the design of the fingerprint sensor on the bottom. 64 gigs of storage with memory card support, 4 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 835, 12 megapixel camera, f2.0, a little bit dated but still good, 1080p at 60 FPS, 2K display. The battery life is not good. 2,730 milliamps is not a good battery life. Definitely get a battery pack mod. You need it for that kind of phone. But other than that, for that price point, it's pretty good. My thinking though is, what about... Just because of what you said, right? You said you were looking at that phone. Now I'm curious, although the processor would be less, what about the, no, it's still better. I was thinking about the Moto X4 because that is, you know, $400 as well. But the Moto Z2 is still better than this phone. Although this phone has a bigger battery. Yeah, my recommendation is, if you get that one, definitely get the Moto mod for the bigger battery. That would be my main recommendation. So LG G7 been hi. So LG G7 been in the T-Mobile store. It's not released yet, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't release till the first week of June. Am I wrong on that? Did it already release? I thought it was the first week of June that it was released. Samsung could make that money back by raising the price on panels for a few dollars. True. Probably what will happen. Have you tried the XDA navigation gesture app yet? No, I still have it saved. I downloaded it, but I've not tried it. Just been busy with the OnePlus 6 came early, and so a lot of videos just doing it while I can. Plus, we have this Razer laptop, the Razer Blade Pro, that we need to review and finish up by Wednesday, because I need to ship that back. So a lot of things just going right now. We'll get to it, but yeah, that's the main thing for it. Let's see. When is the next IR blaster on a Galaxy? Not gonna happen as far as I know, unfortunately. I was watching your Sonos speaker video. I want to get one, but I'm torn. Which smart speaker dominates your home, and why? So the smart speakers I have are the Google Home. I have three Google Homes, and then I have one Google Home Mini. I am going to get a new Google Home in July with the display. We'll see which one that is, but that is coming, so yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't have the Sonos speaker. I did review the Sony speaker, which I do not have anymore. That was a gift for my mom for her birthday, I think, from me and my brother. And she loves it, so yeah. Their home now has that one and two Google Home Minis. Spreading the Googles. Why do I feel like I should make a shirt called "I'm here to spread the Googles"? I'm here to spread the Googles. Ricky, would you say iOS is better than Android in terms of software because it needs less RAM to run? Android is very RAM hungry. Is it better at RAM management? Yes. Is it better at software? No. No, iOS is too slow for me. And I don't think iOS has too many power users. That's the biggest thing I would say, because I can make iOS run really slow. Every time I've used an iPhone for my, testing period, it runs too slow for my opinion. It lags, it has issues, it stutters, all of that stuff that, people say, oh, that means it's not a good smartphone. Well, you may never experience that on iOS, but I do all the time. Because I am a power user. I go between apps like no other. The gestures to me too are not as good as the double tap of the home button and all that kind of stuff was, in my opinion. But yeah, to each their own. I know a lot of people that love iOS and that they call themselves power users as well. For me, on using iOS with multiple things running at the same time, it gets too slow for me. So they can do more with it, but not necessarily the most. Hoping you and your family are great and safe for Memorial Day weekend. Still waiting for the LG V40 or the Pixel 3 or the new iPhone till I upgrade from my S8. Probably will look at the U12 Plus. We'll see. Again, I'm not crazy about it in my opinion. Let's see. What would you buy, S9 or Note 9? I would buy the Note 9. I don't even know what's gonna have to come out on the phone, but no, if you ask me, like, without any kind of understanding of what the Note 9 will have or come with, but you just ask me, oh, what would I buy? The S9? Yeah, the Note 9. Take my money. Like, they have earned that kind of loyalty from me because of how good the Notes have been every year. LG V30 versus G7, do or don't? I don't know, man. I mean, that's what that was my secondary phone was the V30, and I moved to the G7. I do like the G7 overall better. The screen isn't as good as I would like. But other than that, I do like it better. So for me, it's probably the speed that it makes it better to me. So yeah, that's what, if you're just asking me which one, I would probably say the G7, but I would more likely say wait for the V40 because that's going to be the best of both worlds. Am I missing something with the whole notch movement? I'm not seeing what it's doing, giving us better experience. Do you think it's going to become the norm, like how nominal batteries are? No, the notch will not become the norm after this year. Users have made it clear they do not like the notch. And that's going to hit more in sales than people really realize. The notch is not liked. No one likes the notch. And manufacturers got caught up in the Apple hype. And, you know, this is also because of reviewers though too. Reviewers give Apple too much credit sometimes. And what do I mean by that? Oh, no one uses a headphone jack anymore. No one uses a headphone jack. Last time I checked, almost every single laptop still comes with a headphone jack. And last time I checked, flagship smartphones still come with a headphone jack. So some of them don't. Yeah, you're right. But do a lot of them? Yeah. So, you know, yes, non-removable battery did happen, but that wasn't so much because of Apple. That was because of Samsung and waterproofing, to be quite honest, and wireless charging. To have wireless charging, you cannot have a removable battery, which is something that a lot of people still don't realize, but that is true. If you have wireless charging, you cannot have a removable battery, and that's what happened. So, yeah. I'm watching your video on the Tab S4. Good tablet. I'm watching your video. I'm watching on a Tab Pro 8.4. Tab Pros were awesome. That's the one I still, my wife still has. Whoa, sorry, we are getting some spam up in here. Sorry, I had to remove someone. A whole bunch of questions just did load, by the way. Sony speaker. Okay, yeah, there you go. Heavy user, my battery life sucks on the Note 8, waiting for the Note 9. Did you do all the tweaks I recommend on saving battery life on the Note 8? Make sure you check out that video if you haven't already. Apple should sue over the notch so no one else would want to use it. Apple should totally sue over the notch. Please, Apple, sue over the notch. Jesus, that would be such a great lawsuit. No, but actually they can't even do lawsuits like that anymore, which was funny of how that lawsuit happened. For those of you who don't know, because this is very, like, not public, the reason why Apple stopped all their lawsuits was because Google bought Motorola. Now, you may think, well, Google sold Motorola to Lenovo later, because Lenovo is the one who owns Motorola now. Yes, but Google kept all of the patents from Motorola. So, behind closed doors, what effectively happened was Google was like, hey, stop suing Android OEMs, or we'll stop you from making smartphones if you really want to go to a patent war, since we bought the company that made cell phones. And that was the end of Apple suing everyone over patents. Let's see. Galaxy Tab S2 10-inch. Thank you for your recommendation. RECKY. I'm sure my girl will enjoy it, and my wallets will definitely thank you. Awesome. Can you offer your thoughts on the G7? Overall, as a smartphone, it's a good smartphone. It really is. The problem with the G7 is more this. This G7 costs $750. This OnePlus 6 cost $530, but I got the $580 version. So, even so, higher version, right? More built-in storage, more RAM than the G7. this is a problem. That is the main problem with the G7. The main problem with the G7 is what else is out there, which was why I was thinking about doing a video comparison, really everything there. Now, does the G7 have some things that the OnePlus doesn't have? The G7, in my opinion, well, we'll actually see because we're doing a camera comparison soon, but the G7, in my opinion, overall, I would say has probably the better camera than the OnePlus 6. And the G7 also, I would say, doesn't have the, well, it has the water resistance and it has wireless charging. Those are two features that the OnePlus doesn't have, right? So better camera, wireless charging, but at that price point, what about the S9? What about, you know, it's like there's other phones that have everything the G7 has, but more. And that's the real hard part about the G7. Or have a little bit less, but for way lower price point. So that's a big problem with the G7 overall in my initial thoughts. Can you give me a timeline when the S10 will be coming out? So the S10 will be coming out would be between February and March. This has been different because, again, now every year the S series has been rumored to be announced at CES. Every year it's never happened. The latest rumor, with a lot of people in Samsung saying this is actually being considered, is that the S10, the 10th anniversary S series, will be launched or announced in January, launched in February, and then the foldable Galaxy smartphone will be announced in February and launched in March. Now, if I do not give credence to that rumor, then it would be its normal schedule time, which is announced in February and comes out in March. So between February and March is when it will come out, and between January and February is when it will be announced. What would the Samsung Tab S4 wishlist be? I want to go back to a 16:9 ratio instead of the 4:3. That would be one of my biggest things. I want more RAM. Like, I don't care if you give me the fastest processor, which I don't think they will. I think they're going to give you last year's processor, the Snapdragon 835 instead of the 45. But that would be one of them, definitely. Other than that, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I want. I want a 16:9 aspect ratio so my videos will look better. HDR video support should be a given, I think, at this point. Yeah, I'm not too that faster speed. I would want 6 gigs of RAM, which I don't think I'm gonna get, but I would want 6 gigs of RAM, better multitasking capability. I'm fine with, again, the Snapdragon 835 processor from last year, although I would appreciate a faster one. But more RAM, 16:9 aspect ratio, I think, are the big things that I would want a change from the Snapdragon 835, from the Tab S3 to the Tab S4. I would also like the S Pen built in and with a bigger battery. That's my opinion. I'd rather have a not thin tablet with a bigger battery and my S Pen inside than the current one, which is the S Pen outside. Samsung phones with micro SD LED when? So Samsung smartphones with micro LED, (2020) I think is a safe bet. 2020 I think is a safe bet. You're over the 5G, it would be a good different time, but I would say from 2020 to 2021. What are very but good reasonable price Bluetooth speakers? Good price Bluetooth speakers. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. Good price Bluetooth speakers. I mean, I reviewed a couple. The Sony XB20s that we reviewed last month were pretty good. It just, what do you mean by reasonably priced? You mean $100? You mean $200? Give me a price point and I can more accurately tell you a good Bluetooth speaker for the price point. What's your opinion on the Han Solo movie? Is it a Star Wars movie in the right direction? Yeah, if you haven't watched our Solo movie review, definitely check it out. because I think a lot less people saw it than they should have. This was way better than The Last Jedi, in my opinion. Like, way better. Like, if The Last Jedi made you go away from Star Wars, watch this movie. This is the best palate cleanser you can get. It is a Star Wars movie. It is fun. Is it like perfect? No, it's a good movie. I'm not even going to call it a great movie, but it is a good movie. All the actors, I think, did a great job in it. You know, from Harrison, or not from Harrison Ford, from Alden Ehrenreich to God, what's his name to play Lando? Donald Glover, to I can't remember her name. Kira is the name of her character, but Game of Thrones girl. I can't forget her. I forgot her name. But her, Woody Harrelson, they all did great in their acting roles. Like, great job at it. There were some issues with the script and stuff like that, but overall, I thought it was really good. It had good twists and things like that too. Was it predictable? Yeah, for the most part. There was one twist no one saw coming though. Like, and I watched the most diehard Star Wars channels. No one saw that coming. Like, no one saw that coming. So there are predictable things in it, yes, but it's a Star Wars movie. It's okay to be predictable. I still maintain, and I talked about a little bit of this in the review, but I still maintain, if Rey had been the child of Luke Skywalker, and that was revealed in The Last Jedi, instead of what we got, it would have been applauded. Like, it doesn't matter if it's predictable. It really doesn't. It's okay to be predictable. We do not need an independent film. We need a blockbuster film. That's my stance on it. But yeah. Appreciate it, thank you. I meant cheap phone, but still a 2017 flagship. So the phone came out last year, which is not too bad. Yeah. How come the US version of Samsung's phones get Snapdragon and everyone else gets the Exynos? Because Samsung can't produce that many processors. They can't. Samsung produces processors for Qualcomm. They produce processors for Apple. They produce processors for themselves. It's a lot of processor manufacturing. Samsung simply cannot do all of them. So they do. They basically have Qualcomm do the majority, basically. Not the majority, I would say. Well, yeah, I mean, the US is a pretty big percentage of Samsung smartphone sales. I don't know if it's 50% or 40% or something like that, but basically they do all of those Snapdragon, and they do the Exynos themselves everywhere else. And because it's cheaper for Qualcomm, because it's a, yeah, Qualcomm is a US company if I'm not mistaken. However, that could change if someone buys them. But that's what we're going through right now. Let's see. I think it's because Samsung won't allow US government to install spyware on their devices, but Qualcomm, well, that's a touchy subject. The Note 4 was the best in my opinion. The Note 4, the Note came similar to the S series. They should try and make the S and Note series far apart as they were before. I agree with that, actually. I do agree that there should be more separation in it. Do you think a waterproof batteries will be possible to make? Waterproof batteries? What do you mean by that? Like a battery pack? There are battery packs that are waterproof and rugged. They just have rubber all around it. Battery packs, but not batteries. So I'm not sure if that's what you meant or not. What is the best Bluetooth speaker for $100? Okay, for $100. Oh, well, let me do a quick search because there's 3 or 4 that I'm thinking of, but I want to make sure that those are in the right price range. Let's see. Okay, so we got the JBL Flip 4, we got the Isn't there a newer UE boom than that? JBL Flip 4 should definitely be a contender for that. Maybe that Sony is more. I would not say the Bose one for the 100, the SoundLink Micro. I would not recommend that one for that price. Wow, they still have rock speakers. Sony, yeah, so the Sony XP21 is the newer one of the one I reviewed. That is $100, so that should be considered. Or last year's XP30 should be another one that should be considered. Really good quality for that. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the SoundLink Color from Bose. I don't know about the UE for that price point. I feel like the JBL has it beat for that price point. Yeah, I'm gonna say the ones off the top of my head would be the JBL Flip 4 and the Sony XP21 or last year's XP30. Those would be the ones I'd recommend around $100 price point. All right. What is your opinion on the best budget smartphone with stereo speakers? Budget smartphone with stereo speakers. Depends what you call a budget smartphone. I mean, the Pixel 3 is what, $649? That has stereo speakers. Razer phone hasn't gone down in price because that would be one of the best ones. I mean, you get the Axon 7, ZTE Axon 7 from like 2 years ago that had one of the best speakers ever made. That one would probably be like $200, I would assume now. But it's a dated phone. But yeah, so it depends on your price. Besides Solo, what movie are you looking forward to before this year is up? I mean, I got a couple of movies lined up, so let me go just through all the next movies I'm seeing. So starting in June, I am seeing Upgrade, Ocean's 8, Incredibles 2, Jurassic World, Sicario 2 in June. Incredibles 2 is probably the most excited I am for all of those. July, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hotel Transylvania 3, Equalizer 2, and Mission Impossible, what is this, 6? Ant-Man and Wasp I'm definitely looking forward to, so that will be a fun one. Darkest Minds in August, The Predator in September, Night School in September, Venom I am not looking forward to, but I just hope they don't mess it up, in October. Fantastic Beast I will actually miss, so that really sucks. Wreck-It Ralph 2, November 21st. Is Creed 2 still scheduled to come out? I don't know if that's still scheduled to come out this year. But Wreck-It Ralph 2, definitely looking forward to that one. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, that's the one with Miles Morales and Peter Parker, so that'll be fun. Bumblebee, Aquaman. So out of all those, I would say Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and Wasp, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Creed 2 if it comes out, that's my top anticipated one. But I don't think that's coming out anymore. This was the list that I put at the beginning of the year. And Aquaman. Those would be probably my most anticipated coming up. S8 has no wide angle camera. True, S8 does not have a wide angle camera. But can that be LG's most differentiating feature still? Especially when you can get a clip-on wide angle camera? I mean, these are honest questions. I'm like, these are questions you have to ask. Like, if you can just, and the S8, by the way, or no, wait, was it the S8 or the S9? I think it was the S8 too. The S8 does have a wider camera than like if you have an S8 and an iPhone, the S8 had a wider camera than the iPhone. So the S8 does have a wider camera, but not a wide camera, if that makes sense. Let's see. If Apple took away the headphone jack, then why not make a phone? Why not make their phone waterproof instead of water resistant? The iPhone 10 is waterproof, quote unquote IP68. So that is waterproof by technical standards. See the cell phone world today, they're so expensive, it's unbelievable. I think they should start call me when 512 gigabyte 12 megabyte, 8 gigs RAM, 120 gigs of storage. That's what I like to see. I would too. 16 by 9. You think the 18.5? Oh, that's an interesting question. Would the 18 by 5 aspect ratio come to a tablet? I don't know if that would come to a tablet. I don't see the point of it. Maybe. That would be cool. I would actually be down for that kind of aspect ratio. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would be interested. What is a good Type-C to HDMI adapter for the S9 and Note 8? I had that. If you watch our video on, I think it's how to connect the Note 8 to a TV, look for that video. I have the one that I use for it. It was either the Note 8 or the S9. I forgot which video that was, but I basically showed you the 3 different ways you can connect it to a TV. And I have the Samsung official one on that one, but there was a better one, and it had a Type-C so you can still charge it, full USB 3.0, and an HDMI connection. So it was the best one because you got all 3, and it works very well. Why do you think, in spite of releasing earlier, Siri is not as good as Google Assistant? Because Apple didn't follow through, and let's be honest, Siri was still thought up of when Steve Jobs was there. It's not the same company, guys. It's not. What do you think about the ZTE dilemma? Are they able to get back into business again? I talked about that at the beginning of the show. Again, no politics talk, just we're talking about it as a company. I think that precautions should be taken to ZTE. They should be heavily fined. But I just don't want to see a company go out of business. That's my thing. So yeah, as long as the right steps are taken, great. But I think that it looks like they might be in business again, yes. Are iPhone's 1080p display like the iPhone 8 better than other 1080p displays like Honor or Huawei? No. No, they're not. No. Did you see A Quiet Place? I did see A Quiet Place. I didn't do a review on it because, as I stated before, I'm only doing reviews on like big time movies, blockbuster movies. I'm not gonna do reviews on like, you know, A Quiet Place. It's smaller film. I saw it. Like I wouldn't do one probably on The Equalizer 2. It's not that big of a movie, but I'm gonna see it. I love it. Or Sicario 2. I'm not, you know, it's not a big time movie, so I'm not gonna do a video review on it. But I did see Quiet Place. It was great. I did not want to see it because I knew I was just gonna get pissed at these people. I knew that like my wife loved it more than me, I would say. But like I told her, I'm like, why are we seeing this movie? All I'm gonna do the entire time is be like, why would they do that? Oh my god, that's so stupid. Oh my god, like, you know, it's just like, and I did the entire time. I was just like, oh, these fucking people. So yeah, that's what I thought I would do. That's what I did. Why can't I record my screen with internal audio in 2018? That's a good question. You can with third-party apps, but not built in. I use Mobizen is the one I think I use. It was in my must-have apps for the S9 video, but that is an app that I do use. Ricky, I would like to know how to set music for your text messages on the Note 8. I don't remember, and I don't have the Note 8 with me. But can I set it here? Oh, dumb, silly. I'm actually using Pulse as my third-party text messaging app, so I can do it on that, but I'm not sure if you can actually do it on the standard text messaging app, and that's gonna take too long. But you can do it with the third-party app. I'm not sure if you can do it with the standard text messaging app. If I have an 18:9 display for watching and watching a 16:9 video, what will happen? Which is better in your opinion, 18:9 or 19:9? Okay, so 18:9 is the actual aspect ratio that film is sometimes filmed on when it's like ultra widescreen. 16:9 is still the standard that is used most of the time. So 16:9 in my opinion is still the best. 18:9 looks cool, and I'm very used to it now. But I don't know if you would ever use it on anything else except for a smartphone. Like 16:9 is the standard on TVs, of course. 16:9 is also the standard on laptops and computers, desktops, all that kind of stuff. Monitors are all 16:9, so I don't see that changing. Just because I don't think there's as many uses for it. But yeah, those are my opinions on it. I like 4x3 tablets with 7.9-inch screen, which is perfect. Eagerly waiting for Mi Pad 4. Hope they use an NVIDIA Tegra chip set again. That would be interesting if they went back to Tegra. I don't know if Tegra is really making them except for their NVIDIA Shield anymore. But yeah. Lightning cable or USB Type-C in your opinion? Type-C, way more versatile, way better than Lightning by far. The only reason Apple isn't using it is because they want to keep their proprietary stuff, but I think Apple will go to Type-C in the next 2 years on their iPhone. I didn't see A Quiet Place. Did you like it? Sicario 2 is out. No, Sicario 2 is not out. It's going to be out in the 29th of June, so it's not out yet. Are you a DC or a Marvel guy or both? In brightest day and darkest night. Now, I am both. You know, I can agree with what everyone pretty much says. Marvel has way better movies. There is no fight. They have better movies, period. But DC kills it on TV most of the time. I haven't seen Flash this season. I saw basically to the halfway point and I need to catch up on it. Haven't seen Black Lightning 2. That was another one I wanted to see. Although I still think they should have made a Static Shock show better. You know, they wanted grittier, darker, but Static Shock would have sold more. But yeah, I'm both. I mean, I like the Batman animated series, the Justice League show and Justice League Unlimited show should be what DC should be doing. If DC would just take from that, they would be making millions. They're not, because they don't know how to write a good story in their movies. Oh wow, we're running out of battery apparently. I guess we're wrapping up, guys. You know what? I will stick around for a little bit more. Let me switch out the battery. Hold on. You guys should be able to still hear me though, just switching out battery right now. And we're back. All right. Ricky, have you noticed the home button on the Note 8 looks like the OnePlus 6 symbol? I've not noticed that, but you're right, actually. If you look at the OnePlus 6 symbol, that is pretty much how the home button on your Galaxy smartphones looks like now. That is kind of interesting. Never noticed that. Good catch. I figured out how to record Snapchat on the S7 with internal audio using Game Launcher and Game Tools. That's hilarious. Plus for Instagram too. That's a good hack. Why do you think people bash Pixel phone? Because I think they are new to hardware game, and I think they should be given a chance. First of all, I would say most people do not bash Pixel. I think if anything, Pixel's overhyped. That's my opinion on it. But do they have a crappy screen? Yeah, they do. Is that their fault? No, it's LG's fault. LG made the screen. I think that's going to change this year a lot because I think HTC is going to be the main component hardware-wise for it, and I think they're going to use Samsung OLED screens. That's what I believe. We'll have to wait and see if it's true, but I think HTC will make all the hardware except for the screen, which will be made by Samsung. Please stand by for technical difficulties. Flash Season 4 after mid finale sucked in my opinion. Oh, that sucks. That was where I stopped. The mid finale. Damn it. No, I think I saw like 1 or 2 episodes after that, but yeah. Yes, you can set music for text message, ringtone, alarm, and more on the Note 8. Hit me up on Twitter. There you go. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Illuminati confirmed. Yes. They were trying to shut me down. Is YouTube Music available in your country? YouTube Music is already available in my country. I downloaded it. I haven't used it yet though, because it hasn't switched yet. And I've heard that YouTube Music is still very limited compared to Google Play Music. So I'm going to use Google Play Music until the end of the month of June when they'll switch it to YouTube Music. I have the Huawei MediaPad 3, which I love. Badass 10.1 tablet. You should check it out. Maybe I will. Alright. Okay, now I think we're going to end. I know it was only a little bit longer, but I wanted to make sure that it wrapped up properly. Alright guys, hopefully you did like this video. If you did, please give a like, thumbs up, and share it with your friends and family. As I said, if we grow the channel, I'll be much more financially stable, so I'll be able to do more videos for you guys. So yeah, please share it, and it really helps me out. Or share your favorite video, or share the solo video that I did, or share whichever video you want, but share. Sharing is caring. Alright guys, thank you again as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.